Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd. My name is Maria Park.
And I'm River Park.
And we are here today in the grand appreciation of horror movies, especially zombie movies that I have in this marriage that my spouse technically does not, but has to watch them with me through the marriage contract to talk about Zack Snyder's movie, Army of the Dead. Now, generally, we like this movie. We liked the fast-paced action shots of this movie. We liked the cinematography. We liked how this movie kind of reminded River, I think, of the Netflix series, if you're into it. I think it's shot in Spain, Money Heist, with zombies added to it. It had elements of Dawn of the Dead. It had a little bit of elements of Land of the Dead, and probably the parts of the movie that I wasn't too fond of are the Land of the Dead aspects, because I didn't like Land of the Dead. I did not like how intelligent the zombies were in Land of the Dead. It actually made me angry. So there is that. But overall, definitely like this movie, but definitely we're going to talk about it because we talk about everything. So why would we stop now? So let's talk about the premise of this movie first, and then we will get into the review portion. So basically, there's like this, military convoy, and they're like traveling from God knows where. I think it's from Area 51. And even the soldiers that are transporting whatever's in this container are like, maybe it's from Area 51. Maybe it's, it's blah, blah, blah. Like they have all these like conspiracy, ancient aliens, History Channel theories, and simultaneously there's a newlywed couple coming from Vegas who, unfortunately, and this is the running joke I had at the very beginning of this movie. I said this to my spouse lovingly. I said the entire zombie apocalypse in this movie was started with a blowjob. Am I wrong? I'm like, because girl was going down on her new man, her new husband, and it caused him to not pay attention to the road. And of course, the soldier that was talking the conspiracy theories was not paying attention to the road. And so they collided. The couple was instantly killed. That's how it looked anyway. And the container that they were hauling was damaged. And so it was opened. Now, I will say there is not a sense of urgency at any point in this movie. Which is confusing for me because I'm a person, maybe I'm just paranoid, but if all of the things that I knew were happening in a timeline and I had a time frame for which to get things done and pretty much save my life, I would be rushing. But I feel like nobody had that urgency in this movie. So even when the container opens, the soldiers are like, slowly walking to it. The door's open. There's a guy on the radio, soldier, like far away from the guys are approaching the container. There's talking to base, and they're like, the woman literally on the window says, "Get the hell away from it." She breaks protocol. Like she's all like professional, standby, blah, blah, blah. She's like, cut the shit, basically. She's like, the hell with that. Get the hell away from that thing. And I'm like, that is flag number one. So then he goes and looks at the dude that's by him that's kind of throwing up because, they are part of the impact. And he's like, yeah, we need to go. And I'm like, as a minority and as minorities, we would have already been on a jet or a plane like miles away from here. So, I mean, you didn't even have to tell me. I would have been calling you from like 30 miles away. So basically, there's a pioneered extraterrestrial human hybrid that is basically the zombie who attacks all of the soldiers and makes them the undead. And then you see this really cool shot of them looking over Las Vegas. And now I was just like, shit. So you already know Las Vegas is going to get hit. And then through the opening, you do see shots of like the casino being hit. There are like people running around. They're like topless dancers chasing men around and eating them. I mean, it's your standard Romero close-up zombie encounter type situation. Every Romero film, he does a great job of showing close-ups of zombies from every angle, especially when they're eating shit. So I do think that this movie is a great love song to Romero films, but also doing its own shit. So yeah, so we see like all these people that are in Las Vegas as it's being shut down. The military obviously failed to contain the situation. Classic Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil situation going on. We see the saddest one that I wanted to know about in the opening. You see a mother and her daughter And the mother seemed really badass. And like she, like at the end, you know, her daughter didn't want to leave her because she was being pulled by zombies, and she's hugging them and they just drop like a crate on them and kill them. And I'm like, oh, that's the opening. And something else I found interesting too is that so we see, if you watch Star Trek Discovery, there's an actress in it who gets cast in this movie, and her name was Tig. I always forget her last name. I'll have to look at that really quickly because I might be able to see it in the credits. But her name is Tig. I know her first name is Tig. So she's really, really funny. She's very eccentric. And apparently she replaced an actor. And I didn't know this. I had to look this up because everyone was like, oh, it was digitally edited in. And I'm like, okay, so Chris D'Elia was like basically there was a controversy about him and like something he did, maybe like some sexual assault or sexual misconduct or whatever. So he got replaced by Tig. And I knew that she was a replacement because at the very beginning of the movie, you see her in an Elvis costume and then she's got a very recognizable face. And so I'm like, she's like literally zombie Elvis, you know, and then she ends up being the helicopter pilot in this. So, but yeah, I thought it was interesting of all the opening shots, all the cool stuff you saw in the opening shots. Now, the reason I'm talking about the opening shot so much and the character so much is that you don't get a lot of exposition on anybody. I'm just putting out there. We do not know a lot about any of these damn characters outside of why they're going back into Las Vegas and what they're doing. So we have Scott Ward, who is a former mercenary, and he is flipping burgers because after the war, you know, the government's like treated them like they do what most soldiers that came back from like wars like Vietnam and stuff. And just like, we're like, thanks for your service. We're not helping you anymore. Go live your life. I mean, that's basically what it is. So he's flipping burgers. And there is a man, and his name is Tanaka. And he offers, I think it's like it's $200 million. And he offers them $50 million to go into the zombie land of Las Vegas and go into this building, this part of the casino, go underneath it to this safe that seems to be impenetrable, form a team and go and get this money out. And if he gets the $200 million out, they can keep $50 million. And I'm already like, this is shady. This is a shady ass plan. I'm like, really? He's like, Tanaka made him form his own team. He said there's an abandoned helicopter on the roof. I'm like, how do you know that? I'm like, and also, how do you know what kind of working order it is? You're sending us in there and we don't even know if the damn helicopter is A, still there, or B, in working order. And like, that is literally our way out, you know? And then like, the whole thing is just shady. And then he tells Ward, he said, so in 72 hours, the military is going to bomb Las Vegas, which made me question, why the hell didn't they bomb Las Vegas when they realized they couldn't quarantine it? I mean, the United States is a nation of firearms and blowing shit up. And anybody can argue me with that, but I'm telling you, I live in the South and I know that they have firecrackers on a regular day, not just the 4th of July. So I know good and well that Las Vegas would have got up in flames. So I don't know why it took so long for them to come to the conclusion that they just wiped Las Vegas out. I mean, I know they tried to make it seem like, well, humanitarians were saying that the zombies are people too. F that. I'm like, since when if corporate America don't listen to us, why the hell would the military and the government listen to us? I had to suspend my disbelief on how long they waited to bomb Las Vegas. I'm sorry, guys. I had to suspend that. It didn't make sense to me. But for plot purposes, we had to have it there so they could have the threat of being bombed. So Ward forms this team. And he gets 2 members of his team are people that he was with before, and that's Maria Cruz. And I don't want to say her name is Ana de la Reguera. I butcher names, guys. That's her actress. Maria is a very cool character. And then we have what's his name? I think it's Vanderahi, I always butcher names, but he's played by Amari Hardwick. Very cool character. So these are like the 3 that were in the original opening scene with the other people that didn't make it out. So they were military, special forces, blah, 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 mercenaries, whatever. So they're badass. And then they add on some more people. Like we have Dieter, who's like this really quirky, sweet, and jumpy, has the best girl scream I've ever heard. Safecracker. Absolutely amazing. We had Lily the Coyote, who was very cool, and what happened to her was effed up. We have what was his name? Well, Tig, obviously. Tig Notaro plays Marianne Peters. She's the helicopter pilot. Mikey Guzman by Raul Castillo. He's like, I want to say he was the one that was doing like videos of himself, like shooting zombies and getting subscribers, but I can't remember if that was him or if it was the guy that was with him that backed out, because they brought another guy. So it might have been the guy that backed out. But I mean, he was pretty badass too, which is cool. And then they had yeah, well, the daughter. So Kate, so Ward, who is the main character, Scott Ward, played by Dave Bautista, his daughter, also Kate, comes with them. And honestly, Kate got on my damn nerves in this whole movie, but I'll get back to that in a second. So anyway, she works at a quarantine camp. So basically they're setting up their team, trying to get through the quarantine zone into Las Vegas. And there's a woman named Lily, a smuggler, who smuggles people into Las Vegas all of the time and seems to know a lot about zombie etiquette. And I say etiquette because she's like, well, if I go in there and I offer them like an offering, which is somebody that you shoot for them to just take and do whatever they want with, then they leave us alone and let us just take a tour of the city. And I'm like, what? Like the zombie's just like, oh, you brought passage into the door. You paid the toll. Have fun in our zombie festival. No one will eat you. It's just their ticket across the border. Go ahead. You want to go to the casino? Because obviously you don't have casinos where you live. You need to come to a zombie apocalypse side. That's fine. So Lily takes them across the border, and then shit starts to get real. So that means that's like the basic premise. They're going there to get the money. So it's literally like every heist movie you've ever seen, but throw in zombies and then throw in alpha zombies. And you pretty much have this movie. So there's a guy named Cummings who basically is molesting women or raping women in the camp, the quarantine camp. He is an asshole. We see that, Ward's daughter, Kate, has a run-in with him, and he's a very creepy guy. So Lily recruits him to come because she already knew in her mind he was going to be the sacrifice. So she shot him in the leg, bam, he becomes a sacrifice, and they got their little passage when they went. But there is actually a girl that, so there's a woman who has 2 kids that Kate is basically helping, I guess, take care of, and they're getting deported. Like they're going to have to, leave their quarantine camp. And the mother wants to get money to try and support her kids. So she talks to Lily prior to Ward's team going over there to take her into the zombie zone. And then they never come back. So then Kate's like, well, I'm going to go find her. And I'm like, oh, she's going to get everybody killed. Like literally what was my response? I'm like, she's going to get everyone killed. And I do see you guys talking on the side. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm sorry. I just want to get through some of these thoughts and then we can talk about it. But that like seriously, in every zombie movie, there is always that one person that F's everything up. Now, technically that wasn't entirely Kate, because there was a man that was sent with them who works for Tanaka, the one that hired them, who basically screwed everybody from the beginning. Like had he not even been there, they may have gotten the money and got the hell out. But unfortunately, you have to have that one asshole who he just causes problems for everybody else. And this was this guy. His name was Martin. He's played by Garrett Dillahunt. And I just wanted to literally smack the bejesus out of him throughout this whole effing movie. But this is where all of our nitpickings come in. And again, we love this movie. It's really hard for me not to love a zombie horror movie because that's one of my favorite genres outside of space pirates. So I loved it. But I have to say this, guys, as a minority, and I probably shouldn't think this way, even though there were minorities on this team. This Martin guy, they kept saying, we don't know why you really were sent here. We don't trust you. We don't this, right? Nobody did actively anything about this situation whatsoever. Even when the first victim of his treachery, like they're going through like these hibernating like zombies who are basically, they are like the lesser version. I forgot the name they call them. They have zombies that were infected by shamblers. Yeah, shamblers. So shamblers are zombies that are unintelligent. So like there are people that are bitten by the king of the zombies, the original, the patient X zombie, whatever. And then there were the Chamblers who were just bitten by the distant cousin, the cousin's backyard sisters, fourth cousin to the right. And so they have no intelligence. And so they just say, I just want to eat. So they are hibernating inside of the first part of the building they're in because they're going on the inside to try and get to the safe, because you don't want to walk on the outside because the outside has zombies that are alphas. They have an effing zombie tiger. I mean, it's a mess. I'm like, so they're walking in, right? And like the Lily, I think not Lily, what was her name? It was one of the people on their crew. He basically locks her in with zombies. So when he locks her in, she's badass though. She's still shooting and fighting him off, and she busts through like the window. And like one of the people on the team basically sees, and he's even like, "What did you do to her?" And she gets eaten by zombies, and she's like, "Go." And I'm like, "No, shoot this motherfucker because this guy is dirty." And nobody even thinks about the fact that why was she left behind? Why was she in the situation where she had to bust out? And then my next thought is, if I was a person that was in this movie and this motherfucker locked me in there, I would have been like, go and don't trust this mother F because he's the reason I'm dying right now. He locked me in here with these zombies. She didn't even do that. She's just like, go. And I'm like, oh, Lord, no. Oh, my God, no.
When she was shooting all the zombies, trying to still survive as she was falling out the window, she should have put a headshot in fucking Martin and said, your fault. You go down first. Yep. And then I'll get the other zombies and try to survive myself.
Yep. And that's the problem that I have with these movies when they have that one treacherous character. He's able to get away with stuff so much because they're not trying to look at it. It's like they're not trying to see that he's being shady as hell. So he was being shady. I don't know why. Well, I know why. I don't know why they weren't taking it seriously. I know they were all money focused, but like this dude was doing all kinds of shady shit. And I'm like, why are you not doing anything? I'm like, why? So yeah, I was in my feelings about him. Because like I would have been that character. I've been like, we can't go any further because of this motherfucker. So you need to do something about him. You need to shoot him in the leg and have a second offering because it ain't about this life. And I'm like, because he's dirty. And he literally caused so much shit. Like he decided that they wanted a vial of the queen zombie's blood because he wanted to take back to Tanaka, because Tanaka's main goal was to get zombie blood so they can make super soldiers for the military. And my thinking on that was, if it came from Area 51, don't they already have that technology? Don't they already know how to make it? I mean, they made this one. So why do we need this unless you're just trying to sell it on the black market to have black market organizations with zombie, whatever. And then how do you control it? That was I didn't understand that. That was something I didn't understand. But what was interesting to me is he decided he wanted to take the whole damn head of the queen, the entire head. Now we just got an entire explanation from Lily's character saying, you respect they shit, they leave you alone. You ain't, you don't want none. They're not going to give you none. And then you went and took the damn head of the queen, like the queen of the zombies, the queen's head off. And then to add on to my effing confusion, she was pregnant by the king of the zombies. I don't know how to explain that. I mean, I know in that Twilight movie, what was his name? Edward got that girl that blinks a lot pregnant. And I don't understand that either because, I mean, once you're dead, the rules of biology are pretty clear that you don't make semen. So how in the hell?
I mean, maybe that alien was advanced in that area.
I mean, technically, I guess if they were extraterrestrials, then they're not technically, but she was dead because she got turned. I don't know, guys.
But maybe she was human when he had sex with her and impregnated her. And then he turned her. And in the process of turning her, he preserved enough of her life force to keep a baby alive inside, a parasite inside of her. I don't know. Because I don't think it would work the other way if she...
No matter what kind of visual I put in my head right now, it's not working. I'm like listening to this and I'm like, but the baby was this big. That is the longest gestational period ever.
It was an alien.
And then, but also, he didn't know she was pregnant because remember when she came in, he put her hand like on he put his hand on her stomach and was like, "Arr!" And everybody's like, "Ah!" Like all the zombies were apparently happy about this pregnancy, and I'm like, why? Like, it's weird. So yeah, the king of the zombies impregnated the queen of the zombies, and then the freaking treacherous Martin decapitated her, and she wasn't dead because her mouth and her eyes were still moving. So that started off the stuff. And then he just kept trying to get away from them. He planned on, he made it so they couldn't escape. And, he was going up to the roof to try and kill Tig's character to get, to take the flight, the helicopter out of there and yada, yada. It was a mess. But Martin really started all of this shit. But what bothered me about the character of Kate, which was Dave Bautista's daughter, Scott Ward's daughter in this, is that she was trying to find her, her friend, the kid's mother, and save them after knowing she had one tiny little gun. And she's like, I'm going to go into the lair of the king zombies where I just saw them, take somebody and drag them off to do whatever. But I just have a feeling because they bite you and make you like them that my friend obviously has to be in there. So I'm going to go save her with my little gun. I'm like, are you a effing idiot? And the answer is what?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there wasn't a lot of intelligence rolling around in this movie. I'm gonna be real with you.
But a lot of heart.
There's a lot of heart. Now back to my original statement. People didn't seem to be concerned that they were about to be bombed. Even when they saw on the news, when they were already inside the casino, they saw like paper, like blueprints, and realized they were not the first team that Tanaka had sent in there, which means all the other teams had died. And number two, they saw a broadcast saying, well, the government decided to just go ahead and do it a day early. Yay. Oh, and that day is today. Cool. So how many hours will we have? Not a lot. Maybe a few, maybe 2-4 hours. Cool. When they've got the safe open, they had 20 effing minutes to get the money onto the helicopter and get the hell out of Vegas. Why were they walking around high-fiving each other like, hey, there's a what? I'm like,
having long, deep conversations
on the roof of the helicopter. They were all like chatting and like, slowly walking to the helicopter. And then when Lily and Ward finally got up on top of the rooftop to get on the helicopter, because of course he had to go save his daughter because he realized she's a flaming idiot. What got me was she had switched the bag because Martin had a bag. He thought he put the zombie head in, but she took it and put it in her bag and put like some kind of measuring device or cash counter in his bag. And so she was on the roof, and this is like, let me use my hat. So this is what she was doing. She's like, I'm gonna shoot the head. I'm gonna back away. Go, just go. I'll hold him here. And I'm like, she was supposed to be the smart one. I'm like, why in the hell? Why did you back away to impending death when you could have been going to, walking slowly backwards to the helicopter, holding the head, slowly get onto the helicopter with said head, hold the head out, be like, because obviously you wanted this damn head, and as the helicopter is rising up, throw it to him. He'd be like, oh, my biatch, and he tries to catch it, and then you fly away. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, why? Did all the blonde people in this episode sign a contract saying that they had to die? Because she was blonde, and our adorable safecracker was blonde, and he died saving our only black character by pushing him into a safe and closing the door and letting himself be basically ripped apart, eaten, or whatever. So yeah, the blonde, it was not safe to be blonde in this movie. I'm just putting it out there. But for the life of me, I do not understand why she made this choice. Because you could have literally got on the helicopter and used that head as leverage for safe passage instead of keeping yourself on the damn rooftop, letting them escape while you die. Where was the creative choice in that? I'm very confused. Why? I know she feels bad for leaving people behind or not, people not coming out, but I mean, she didn't tell them to go in there and they knew the risk going in. It wasn't her fault that they didn't come back. So I don't think she was doing this out of some, regret or redemption type thing. So the only thing I can conclude was she was stupid. I mean,
also, if we backtrack to when, Kate was all mad that she let the friend, go with the coyote, and the coyote let her go through.
Yeah.
And Lily was like, I would have never done that if I'd known she had children. And it was like, why isn't that part of your screening process? Usually coyotes have a blind process for screening whether or not they're going to take people over. And you just were like, that's important to me, but I'm not going to ask you directly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had a problem with the door. Go ahead and talk about the first thing with the door that was interesting.
So I was looking at the door to see, because we shut our doors at night so the dog doesn't go eat the trash in the morning, when he rushes out to go to the bathroom. So I am used to, checking doors, and we lock the doors at night at home. I was watching that door to see, all the people come out, into the zombie world, Las Vegas, and
through the wardrobe, Narnia's wardrobe.
If anyone, or checking my, hearing to see if I heard the door creak back closed, and I never did. So that was one question about the door. Did they ever close the door? And then the other question that you brought up actually is, if the zombies know the door is there and they see people coming through all the time, leaving them sacrifices and things, why didn't they think, oh, humans live on the other side? So
I think I use the analogy. If I had a box of M&Ms and I pulled an M&M out, I would want to go back into the box and get all of the M&Ms. So if the people are coming from this magical green door and people keep coming through this door, then I'm going to make a educated guess, because I'm an intelligent alpha zombie, that if I go through that door, I'm going to get more people. I'm like, why did they not go through the fucking door? Questions.
Not only people, but animals too.
Anything. I mean, but they don't need any animals. They got a damn zombie tiger. That tiger reminded me of Hulk and Avengers when he had Loki. He was like flinging him back and forth. That's what he did. That's how the asshole that was betraying everybody died, was the tiger.
So cathartic.
And we knew he was going to die by the tiger because he kept saying it's unnatural, it's an abomination. And I'm like, yeah, and that's why you got killed by it, because you named your own killer. So back to Kate saving the mother. She makes this long, passionate speech, and she's like, I helped take care of these children with her. Those two children are going to be all by themselves without their mother. And we're like, and so you're going to take your ass in there too and potentially die, leaving them completely alone? I'm like, why would you leave the two kids by themselves?
She didn't even talk to anybody about the children being all alone before she left.
She wasn't like, if something happens to me, they're like in this tent, make sure you get them. No, that was not a thing. She was like, I need to find the mother, because honestly, the real reason I need to find a mother is I'm too young for this commitment. I'm not taking care of these damn brats. That's what they took out of the script. We need to go get your mama. I'm like, you're not ruining my life. Which is so crazy. Okay, and so River had another question. How did Kate's father find Kate and her friend and bring them to the roof in less than 9 minutes? That you need to add on the fact that he also got on the helicopter and then flew there and then went in and found all of them in 9 minutes.
In a
big ass building.
When he has no idea where she is in that building, because she came in from the ground and he's coming from the top. So I don't know how many stories were in that building, but it was a very tall building, and you cannot go through 20 some flights of stairs, or even half that number, searching all the floors in less than 9 minutes.
I'm telling you now, we live on we might as well say we live on the 4th floor, because there's like we have the Big Bang Theory stairs where you have to go around and around and around to get up, and we have no elevator. And I'm telling you, it's going to take not more than 9 minutes bringing groceries up this damn thing. So I'm trying to figure out how they did this whole thing. And like not only that, they had 9 minutes to fly from where they were to the other building. Granted, it wasn't too far, but you have to land, then you have to go down the stairs, then you have to find your damn dumbass daughter, and then you have to rescue her, and you have to survive a fight with the king zombie dude, and then you have to get back upstairs, you have to get back on the helicopter, and when they went to get on the helicopter technically originally was gone, and then she came back. So that was an extra 2 minutes. I'm like, and then when they were getting on the helicopter, they had a moment where they were smiling at each other. They're like, I'm like, if you man get your ass on that damn helicopter, get the hell out of here. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, why? I'm like, and that gave the zombie king a chance to be like, and then jump in the damn thing and then bite. I don't want to call him Batista, but we're going to call him that. So bite his character, and then he's infected, and of course the helicopter goes down because Tig gets shot during the conflict. We do see them start bombing Las Vegas, so they were true to their word. They bombed and they nuked Las Vegas. And of course the helicopter crashes. Kate survives. I don't think the mother she went in there to F and save in the first place actually survived. I know I think there was still some money. He had a few packs of money that he had gotten with Maria, and he gave that to his daughter, and he's like, go take care of them. I'm assuming he's talking about the kids and not everybody in the damn camp, because I don't think all that money can take care of them. And she volunteers for the quarantine, and then she ends up having to kill him, just like he had to kill her mother at the beginning. He had to shoot her mother through the head because she had turned, because she was, and then the mother's trying to get in there and kill the daughter. So the only two survivors technically in this whole effing movie was Vanderho, enough so our Vanderhe. I'm gonna say it. I can say it. I'm half black. The black guy and Kate. And Vanderhe got all the money, but he didn't realize he got bit. So he's infected. So he went and chartered a private plane, and he's on the plane on his way to Mexico. Is it Mexico or New Mexico?
Mexico.
With two freaking flight attendants, and they're blonde. So in this movie they're already dead. So he is gonna start another damn zombie apocalypse in Mexico. And just to make sure you guys understand the irony of this situation, instead of them immediately bombing Las Vegas, they talked to President Trump and they built a wall around Las Vegas. And it was like they really built a wall. They really built a fucking wall. So they really gonna have to build a wall around Mexico in this movie, or at least in this reality, because in the universe that they're in, they're gonna all be zombies. Wow.
You can't really, I don't think he had a gun or anything with him, and you can't really shoot that on.
He was the one that was carrying a chainsaw too, because I think all his yeah. How did he get out of that? How did he get out of the vault? Because if it was a pressure vault, it's kind of like military grade, so it's like a bunker. So like when they nuked it, yeah, he would have survived that. But who opened the door? I'm assuming it locks behind you. Mm-hmm. They had to have a safe cracker to open it the first time. How do you get out of it from the inside? How do you have enough oxygen to survive that? If there are vents that you can crawl through inside of said vault, then what was the purpose of having all the damn security and traps? Because you can just literally go into the roof and crawl over said vent and drop in.
Well, maybe when the safe is nicely housed at the bottom of the casino, in a secure building that's solid, and everything. And the only way through is the door that you have to undo the 4 locks numbers to get inside. Maybe, when it's been blown apart, so it's just the safe, maybe the rest of this actual safe is, not as secure. And so the bomb blew away its secure housing inside the casino. And now it's just this little box with a door that's really secure, and the rest of it's just...
See, I like your theory, but this really disproves every anime concept I've ever seen. Made in Japan. So you mean to tell me you have all of these like freaking Indiana Jones style traps. Gruesome traps. And then you get to the safe and inside the safe and you're like, and now you've leveled up. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Just take all of the money and all of the things. And don't worry if the door closes, behind you, because it's only hard to get inside. We let everybody out. I'm like, with all the money. What? I'm like, guys, let's talk about some shocking things too in this movie. Maria doing a love confession to Ward's character at the elevator. And I was like, this bitch gonna die. She was like, I didn't come for the money. I came for you. I was like, oh no, no, you're gonna die. Shut up. And sure enough, elevator opens and they literally twist her entire effing head around. And I was like, and she blinked one time and I was like, oh, he finally got another woman. And then she's dead too. Like he's like Terry from King of Fighters. Why do they all have to die? Like, it was absolutely hilarious. I'm sorry.
And her head stayed.
Her head stayed twisted. I mean, that was effective. That was some effective shit right there. So I was very impressed with the zombies' technicalities in terms of how they killed people. It was pretty gruesome. Nothing was cooler than the tiger though, but that was pretty effective. So she went out. She was twisted in more ways than three. And I felt really bad for her character. I loved her because she said what I said, maybe because we're both Marias. She's like, what the hell, Ward? Why the hell did you bring your daughter in here? The hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, yep. Like when his daughter was like, you're either going to let me go with you and keep me safe, or I'm going to just go in after you and sneak in. And I'm like, not if I take out your damn kneecaps, girl. If our daughter said that to us, I'm like, how are you going to do that when you can't walk? I'm going to tan your butt. You're going to actually turn into a minority. You're going to be black. But in this movie, that's how hard I met you. I'm like, that girl, whoo, I don't know. I would, if I was him, I'd be like, man, she's a bad gene pool. I might have to start over. I'm like, I might have to let that one go. But so yeah, so Kate got her dad killed because had he not had to go after her, that never would have happened. So she got her father killed and the helicopter pilot killed. And probably, I can't say she got the mother killed because technically she would have died. Returned. Yeah, or turned in there. So that was only that's the one person she actually ended up saving. But yeah,
until she died.
Until she died, yeah. But the other guy, the traitor, he pretty much got everybody else killed with his actions. And you made an interesting point. We saw the inside of this ratty tatty helicopter. Why did they think all the money was going to fit on that damn chopper? $200 million was going to weigh that damn thing down. I do not understand how they were going to put all of that money in 20 minutes, $200 million in those dimpy little bags they had with a manpower of hardly nothing to the roof through zombies and fly away.
Yeah, you need a FedEx plane for that.
Amazon Prime coming to get it. But yeah, I thought that the chopper would have been weighed down by the money. That's why, I think they all realized early on that the money wasn't really essential for Tanaka and something else was going on. They just didn't know what it was. And when they got the zombie head and dude was like, this is worth a hell of a lot more than $200 million. And we're like, okay, I still don't get that. I still don't get why the blood of the queen of the zombies was essential. Or really, I guess I just needed alpha blood was essential when the government has the formula, unless you're talking black market shit, which is what they could have been doing. Because he was like selling it to militaries. It's like they're sending it to other countries and militaries to weaponize their people by making them into uncontrollable zombies. Very smart plan. Smart Tanaka. Very smart. I needed more backstory on these people. I needed to know who the hell they were. Because I didn't. We knew Kate worked at the quarantine. She volunteered at the quarantine camp. We knew Maria was very nice and was fixing cars for people, including the pregnant lady. I think the woman was pregnant. It was late for work. She was either pregnant or late for work. And I kept thinking, she just got offered this by Ward. Did she at least fix that car before the girl had to go pick up her kids? I mean, I really hope she did that, because she said she was going to do it, and that's kind of like a dick move, but whatever. But I will say this, overall, this is a very enjoyable movie. So I know we're nitpicking, but it is a very enjoyable movie because it does have a lot of zombie action. Once the zombie action starts, it's like that. So like it's very fast paced. The only thing that was not fast paced was their ability to save themselves, because they didn't realize they needed to move faster to be, to avoid being blown up by nukes. I don't understand why time was not a construct or a constraint for them. They were like, we got 20 minutes. We can totally get out of here in 20 minutes before the nukes come. I'm like,
do you know how tall these casinos are? And you're on the bottom.
You're literally in the basement, and you have to get to the roof, and then you have to load all the money, and you have to load yourselves onto this helicopter and then fly out of the danger zone while the nukes are going. I mean, you could literally high five the nuke as it goes by. I don't understand that.
Well, and also it's not going to take just one trip of hauling money up into the roof when you have $200 million to offload. Like, it was crates, it was pallets of money that were as tall as them. You can't put them in little bags and put them on your shoulder and run up the stairs.
I mean,
like,
you can try.
No way
you could try.
You can haul all of that on your little shoulders. Like, well, even with all the crew that they had, even if they all survived to that
there's
point,
no way you could do that. Well,
can't.
Then also with Martin, though, being the associate that was sent there to make sure that none of them ran off with the money, there's one of him. I'm like, what was he gonna do? I'm like, how was he gonna stop all these people with weapons? That did not even make sense to me. So yeah, guys, I had a lot of problems with all of this in terms of story. That's the thing about Zack Snyder. He can make brilliant movies, but there's always going to be a problem with like either character, backgrounds or exposition. I mean, the characters are very thinly written. Like, they don't have a huge, like, there's not a lot to them. There's not a lot. Like, it's hard to relate to these characters outside of you feeling sorry for them that zombies are about to eat their ass. But then you also have to remember why they're there. They're there for money. Mm-hmm. So I needed to have more balance. I needed somebody's mother to need surgery. I needed somebody, needed that money to save their house from being, mortgaged out or being homeless, or, maybe somebody needed, maybe you borrowed money from someone and you're trying to save somebody's life by paying these people off so they don't get killed or blah, blah, blah. I needed a reason. I don't want you flipping burgers to be the reason you went into a zombie apocalypse, because I don't like the fact that I flip burgers. Because V-Man, that's what I'm calling him now, V-Man, he was a physical therapist. I mean, he worked at a center. I don't think it was a community center, so it looked like he was a physical therapist. That's actually a rewarding damn job. So he only went because he, I guess, had PTSD about the last one. He wanted to, I guess that was therapeutic, and he wanted the cash. I'm like, that's literally it. I don't know.
And I also had questions about the money that they were offered for their various roles. Like, in other heist movies, which is one of my favorite genres, if you come to learn that you're not getting as much as someone else, that can cause internal
conflict.
Yes,
yeah, they never learned that.
Time.
They didn't have time to learn that.
It never was an issue, because you would hear, how would you like to make $2 million? How would you like to make $50,000? And I was like, wait, why is it going down? Because your role is less, big and important or whatever. Like, who's determining that? And why are they okay with that? Like, the last guy who, was the sacrifice, well, they offered $20,000. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll make 20 grand. And it was like, you don't want to know what everyone else is. You don't want to know what we're doing to get, no, Tig's character, the pilot, Marianne, whatever, she didn't even want to know. She's like, I need $2 million. You don't want the detail? No. Like, just helicopter? Okay, well, cool. And if you know that there's $200 million total that you're getting out of it, don't you want to know, what % of that is yours as a team to keep? And then what cut is yours out of that? Yeah. If you're all risking your life, it doesn't matter how hard your job is. Yeah. You're all risking your life. So. And then, one of the guys, he was only getting $500,000. The last guy was supposed to get 20 grand, and she was never going to give it to him because he was the sacrifice. Like, and the guy and whoever was the person that Ward talked to before, like the last person he talked to was only getting 50, and it was like, and they're just cool with it. They're like, sure,
why not? Sure, it's fine.
I'm desperate.
completely okay. I'm like, no, it is not. It's
I'm not gonna risk
not.
my life, to zombies for $50,000. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'll
first
just
of
work a full
all,
year.
we subscribe to the minority laws. If you don't know what that means, and technically, you don't have to be a minority to follow the minority code. You can just be smart. We don't go where there are zombies because money is not worth your life. If you knock on something in my house, I'm not investigating. I'm going out the back door. I'm like, that is how you survive. I'm not going in the middle of the woods. Don't call me about going to the cabin. It's not happening. You want to go skinny dipping, have fun, live your life. I'll live mine, and I'll probably be alive for it. We're not camping in the woods that were haunted and people were massacred at. I'm not going to Camp Crystal Lake because I've seen in the papers that everybody has died at Camp Crystal Lake. So why would I go the next year? That's stupid. No, we follow these rules very carefully, and they keep us alive. Nobody in this movie followed these rules, even minorities, and I'm offended by this. So offended. The whole time that V-Man was there, I was singing in my mind, "Get out!" You like the movie Get Out? Get out! Get out! And how come the king of the zombies had to be white? Racism. Anyway, this movie. I know yesterday, I know I was having like a lot of issues because, again, the movie, when we were watching this, I'm like, I could not get over the fact that the zombie apocalypse started with a blowjob. Literally started with a blowjob. Had that not occurred, none of this would have happened. Now, I don't know what would have happened to this extraterrestrial human zombie thing, once it got to its destination. Like, you kind of feel like Area 51 is the place that this thing needs to stay at. It doesn't need to go anywhere else. Why are you transporting it from Area 51? Where are you taking this thing? Zeus, King Zeus. That was his name, wasn't it? King Zeus. No. Like, no. All right. So we're going to go. We've been a 47 minute review. Let's go up to the top and see what questions we have. Let's see. Hey, everyone, did you catch the mom and daughter foreshadowing the entire movie in the opening montage? Yes, that whole scene was so damn sad, too. I was like, why?
I felt more for them than I did for them.
And they had no speaking parts. Sex created the
crying.
apocalypse.
Like,
that was the message that I got as well. Yep. Don't have sex and then everything's cool. That's what they tell you to do in a horror movie. Just don't have sex and you'll live. There are a lot of parallels to what's currently going on in the world. That is true. There are. I mean, they had those, the walls, the temperature scans with COVID. Yep. Hey, Maria, I love this movie. I'm glad you loved it, Ray. Hi, Ito. In what way X84? Oh, you're talking to Mercenary. It's always lovely to see Hiroyuki Sanada. Yes, well, we saw him in Mortal Kombat. So he was Scorpion. So I actually love that they use him a lot in a lot of different things. So he's got a pretty good trick. I remember him in the Wolverine. So yeah, he's a good actor. I'm glad he's getting lots of work. I love the zombies, the grunt workers, but the alpha was insane when he first arrived. See, again, at the beginning of the stream, I said that it kind of reminded me of movies like Money Heist or shows like Money Heist with zombies. And the zombie aspect has the only Romero connection I have is the fact that you got to see up close what the zombies were doing. Because a lot of zombies, it's always like perspective, like wide shots, and you just see them eating people. But like in Romero films, it's so close up, it's just gross. And so we did have some of that in this. But the alpha zombies reminded me of the zombies in Land of the Effing Dead. And I hated that one. I hated that they could just swim. They could literally just, oh, there are humans over there. Let's just go in the water and go over to them and eat them. And I'm like, they literally, it's like, who told them they could swim? And they just up and decided, we can do that too. I can do everything you can do, human. Like, so it drove me insane. And so I had a lot of problems with the alphas being a lot smarter than what were they called again? The the zombies that were stupid.
Shamblers.
Chamblers, thank you. The chamblers.
Shamblers.
Why would they call them chumpies? Like I chump on there. Chompies. I like that. Chompies. They don't. They were hibernating most of the time. They were not very active at all. But anyway, so I just really the whole like caste system between the alphas and the chompies, it's a better name. Pass it on to Snyder. Was interesting and did have that whole Land of the Dead. It's almost like Land of the Dead zombies versus Dawn of the Dead zombies. Like we're the superiors. We are faster and smarter. But we have really shitty senses because none of them could smell Kate was in that car, even though it had a sunroof or it was on the side. There's a window. None of them could smell she was in there, not even the tiger. Because that's another one I just found. So yeah. They should do live action Outlaw Star, Maria. You would love that if you love space pirates. Of course I watch Outlaw Star. What do you think I am, man? I want them to do a live action Nadesco. Martin got it worse than anyone getting eaten by the zombie tiger, but he deserved it. He got exactly what he deserved because he was an a-hole.
He lost his head, taking someone else's.
Yep. Suspension of disbelief during time constraints. I was suspending a lot. A lot. Yes, River Coastline for your honey. I say I ride for you and love, support, and adore you. Oh, you love me. Good job. Let's see. Magical Green Door. Immediately started thinking Immortal Hulk. Yep. But I mean, come on. If everybody's coming through this door and these freaking alpha zombies are so intelligent, why didn't they go through the door? Open the door. Go through it. Obviously, they did it where they were because they had people like being held in different rooms with closed doors. Snyder, what you doing, man? So this is another great by Snyder. I need him to do Deceased. It's going to be a game changer. This movie definitely felt like Dawn of the Dead, which is one of my favorite zombie movies. Yeah, World War Z was not. Yeah, World War Z had potential. And then it just, I don't know. I will say, though, some of the scenes, cinematography-wise, in World War Z was effing cool. Like seeing them all scale that building, that was effing cool. Seeing them run across, man, it freaked me the hell out. If I looked out my car window or my plane, saw that shit, I passed out. I'm like, nope, I'm done. If you're going to eat me, I'm not going to be conscious for this shit. I'm like, not today. Kate was dumb. She didn't need to go at all. She dies. The kids are left more alone. If she didn't leave her dad, would have made it out with the money. She screwed everything up and got everyone killed. She was half of the problem. Martin was the other half. But yeah, she got her dad and definitely the helicopter pilot killed. But you notice how, like, at the end of the movie, like, the mother never said, who's taking care of my children? Because nobody gave a damn about those two kids. Those kids have been crying in that tent since the beginning of the movie. They're still in there crying. Nobody's in there with them.
Harder now.
No one's in there with them. But that's number 2 in this genre. I like classic zombies more than infected new versions that run and think. Yeah, I agree with that. I like the whole, like, there's so many movies that are just good because of the genre itself. Like if you want a crazy movie, look at Anna and the Apocalypse. That movie is effing hilarious. It's a musical zombie movie, but it's effing hilarious. The Shaun of the Dead's classic. Everyone loves Shaun of the Dead. I mean, there's not many that do. Prom of the Dead actually is cheesy, a little more B-rated, but not bad. There's so many. I watch so many zombie movies that I can literally just break down, which ones are good and which ones are not. And then we have, what's the name of the channel that we get that's all horror movie? Shudder. So there is one, and the name just went out of my head, but it's basically a zombie movie that takes place almost an all Native American cast, and part of it's on a reservation, and that movie is very good. Like, why are you gonna it's hard to take down natives even with zombies because you know how to go. But I love zombie movies. This was reminiscent of Land of the Dead, just way better quality plot and characters overall, but the alpha thing aspect, yep, I agree with you. It's not hard to be better. than Land of the Dead. I mean, I love Zombieland. Zombieland's campy as hell. Yeah, there's things that you have to suspend your disbelief on all the damn time. There's tons of times they should have been bitten. But you suspend it because they have main character insurance. Land of the Dead was just effing dumb. It was just dumb. I was like, you could just stop. Just stop. No. Mm-mm. I would have been happy if Kate and Tig traded places and Tig survived instead. Yeah, I like Tig. Tig was cool. The helicopter scene made me think of Alice and the helicopter crash. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Huh. I wonder. See, and that makes you really wonder if she would have survived. If she had, well, I guess she would have survived if she stayed away and just left and been like, I'm flowing over the quarantine. Because as soon as he messed up and told her there was no money, she'd be like, am I going to pay for this? Oh, no. And not only did I fix the engine of this helicopter, I am your chauffeur for this experience, and I'm not getting paid. Yo, damn! He could have at least given her like one of the stacks of money. He could have said, "This is all that's left, but it's yours if you wait for me." Why didn't he do that? Why did he just really trust that she wouldn't F him over? He gave her no incentive. I'm like, none. Zack Snyder told Grace Randolph at a panel she moderated for Army of the Dead that Vanderhee is the new Zeus Alpha. I wonder if he will not turn fully since he didn't change quickly like everyone else. I will say he had the best reaction to realizing he was a zombie. He was like, I got all the damn money and I'm fucked. I was like, and I kept thinking, I'm glad he gave those two stewardesses some wine or whatever before he came back out, or champagne, because they're about to die. I'm like, maybe he won't turn before they get to Mexico, but considering he was already sweating, unless they come up with a cure, it did not take long. Well, we don't know how long they were unconscious after the crash, though, so they could have, because I thought it was daytime and it was night when she woke up. She just better be glad she woke up before he turned. Because that would have been interesting. Dad, why are you biting my arm? I'm like,
we can be together forever, dear.
Yep, I'm surprised.
Start a food truck.
A tofu truck, because that's what we need to do. He said tofu because he didn't want to touch flipping burgers or having meat ever again. I'm surprised that Vanderhee survived. Point for subverting the cliche. Hey, that's not the first movie that did it. Let me tell you the movie that has really touched my soul because they effed it up so much in the past. That is the Halloween franchise. Because the Halloween franchise, if you were a minority of any color, you were dead first. But in the last movie, I guess the director was like, I'm not going to be blamed for this shit. So not only did Mike Myers see a whole ass black family, the little boy was waiting by the car. The mother was rushing. She was dressed as a nurse or some stuff, and she left her keys. She's like, I get the keys in the house. And then the boy is looking at Mike Myers. Mike Myers is looking at him, and then he goes right next door to a white woman and kills her. I was like, bam! The little boy that the girl was babysitting, he was black. He was either in the closet. Did not kill the little boy, killed the babysitter. Little boy got away. If you were black in that Halloween movie, one time in your life you felt safe. Because that's all you need to say. Don't worry about the cops pulling you over. Don't worry about, anything else that any black people have to go through in this country, especially today. If you were in the Halloween universe, your skin color gave you privilege. You were privileged in Halloween because everybody pale died. I'm like, everybody died. The damn doctor died. Everybody died. So yeah, that is the truth that I have just given to you. And if you haven't seen that movie, I'm sorry. I just spoiled it for you. Should she be coming out with this with a heavy dose of survivor's guilt? Yeah. I mean, and she gets to see how her father felt having to kill her mother. And him thinking the reason that she wasn't talking to him all these years is because he killed the mom. I had to kill the mom because she was trying to kill her. You got to wonder if these people have seen zombie movies in their respective continuities. No. I think that about horror movies. I'm like, hey, Jane, do you want to go in the cabin in the woods? We're not going to have reception up there, so don't bother bringing your cell phone. I'm like, you lost me at go to cabin in the woods. I'm like, have you not seen these movies? No. We're going to go to camp. Don't worry. 20 years ago, somebody who never got caught came and killed everybody in all the cabins. Isn't that neat? No. That is not neat. There is something wrong with you. Chambers, the lady with the red bandana, needs to do more action movies. Her fight scene with that's her name. Thank you, Twisted Castle. Chambers. That wasn't she the coyote? Wasn't that her name? Well, maybe the other guy was a coyote. But all I know is she was badass. She's won the background, the Amazons in the Wonder Woman movie and played Kitana. Did she in the web series? They need to make her. I need to look at her lineage before I open my mouth. I got to see what her nationality is, because I could see her as America Chavez. I really could. I was getting America Chavez vibes from her the whole time. I was like, that's even how she like bantered with Martin. She's like, yeah, everybody here thinks you're some trash. Me and you're going to talk when we get there. I'm like, that's America Chavez right there. But I don't want to say that because she may not be, a Latinx or Hispanic. So I got to make sure that that's what she is before I just put that on her. But she would have been a good America Chavez. The mom didn't ask Kate about her kids either when Kate found her. Yep. In the third act, maybe the kids are better off without either of them. I agree. She didn't say, how are my children? If you're here, who's with the kids? The answer is no one. They were crying in the tent. I saw them crying. They told me you were missing. I was like, all right, deuces. And then I went to come find you because I would rather be eaten by zombies and give up my freedom and raise your kids. That's literally what happened in that movie. Props to Deuce for taking the explosion and still being able to move around. This is true. Why didn't the guy jump in the tank in the beginning? When Zeus first got out, why run into the woods and try to outrun and hand being with an injured person? That's true. Were none of their cars working? Were none of the Jeeps working? Like, were the Jeep they were in, when they started running away, was it just so damaged it couldn't move? Did none of them have grenades? Because grenades seem kind of effective instead of just shooting the person and watching people unload bullets into him and thinking that your little guns are going to do anything when they come near you. But everyone can live in that disbelief. That's what I think. Warm Bodies is an amazing movie. I love the narration he does in Warm Bodies. When he narrates his own actions of being a zombie, it's so cool. Sean's a classic, especially the wood scene where they walk past another identical group. I love that. I love everything about that. Every plan leads back to the pub. There's a lot of underrated zombie movies that they actually don't know about. Oh, yeah. I probably in my lifetime have seen over 300. I'm not even exaggerating because it's one of my favorite genres. But the hypocrisy, they have a huge hypocrisy in me, is that I am terrified of cannibal movies. I can't watch people eat people willingly, but I could watch zombies do it. And that makes no effing sense. I know it doesn't. It's like people that love cabbage and hate Brussels sprouts. It doesn't make any sense. People that don't like tomatoes but have tomato sauce on pizza. It doesn't make any sense. It's a thing, guys. I can't eat sliced cheese, but I'll eat the hell out of cheese pizza. Okay, girl, you do you. That's literally how I feel. But they're
not people anymore.
True.
And cheese isn't the same cheese. It's not sliced cheese when it's on a pizza.
That is true.
And a cabbage and a Brussels sprout, like a Brussels sprout's a really mini cabbage, so it's easy to separate the two and they don't taste at all same. I
mean, that's not untrue. That's really not untrue. Cummings did a complete 180 as soon as his life was in danger. Yeah, he was an ass hat. I knew he was molesting those women because he was just creepy. He had a creepy vibe. And yeah, when, Lily was like, I know what you do to the girls in this camp. I'm like, then why didn't you put a cap in his ass? I'm like, why'd you stand by and listen to it? I'm like, I don't understand. I thought it was bold of him. After he got hired for $20,000, he was like telling, Kate, if you don't feel safe, you come over here. And I was waiting for Ward to snatch a knot in his ass. And it was actually V-Man. He was like, don't ever touch my weapon and don't ever talk to her. I was like, and he looked at him, and then when V-Man looked at him, and it was like, yeah, you want to do this? And Cummings like, ain't gonna do nothing. Here's your weapon. I'm gonna walk over here with my tail between my legs because I don't want to get my ass handed to me. So yeah, everything that happened to Cummings was funny, but we knew, and you even said it. I said when they took him back to the hotel and they didn't immediately eat him or kill him or whatever, and he basically got bit, that he was going to be made to be one of them. And you were like, I bet you that they're going to have to run into him again. And sure enough, Kate had to run into him and she killed his ass too. Mm-hmm. But what got me was, here comes, King Zeus. And she's like, pew, 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 pew. I'm like, Kate's stupid.
Why they keep shooting the freaking metal head plate too?
Because for some reason, all of them took it seriously when Ward was giving the how to kill a zombie 30-second, speech, instructional video minus YouTube. And he's like, shoot the head. And even when Dieter is like, if I take a rock and I smash it in the head, does that mean, they're, whatever? And he's like, yeah, because you're still, killing the brain. So all they heard was no matter what dude had on his head, shoot him in the head. They didn't say shoot him in the leg, shoot him in the arm. They said shoot him in the head, and that's what that was. They couldn't think beyond that point. They couldn't think. Nowhere in that instructional video does it say what to do if it doesn't work or if they're wearing protection on their head. So they couldn't go that far. I'm just saying. It's what it is. Walking Dead was at its best when it was survivalist. Once they advanced to building societies, the people effed it up again. Humanity learns nothing. Well, we all know in a zombie apocalypse, the scariest thing are the other humans. Because right now, I can't even go into a Target without having a panic attack because they are all zombies to me, and especially Walmart. I hate Walmart in general, but I literally cannot go into a Walmart. If you're walking, people feel the need to be this close to you, and that's my personal space, and it creeps me out. And then people are they're everywhere, no matter what corner. You think you're in a safe little corner. I literally will go down an aisle with rusty looking nails to get away from people. And there'll be 30 people coming around the corner. And I'm like, where are you coming from? I'm horrifying. That's why I don't do this Black Friday thing. No, that's how you die. No, you don't go to Black Friday. That is the closest you will get right now to a zombie apocalypse. It's not happening. Now, the guy who played Martin was in Fear the Walking Dead. I'm sure he was. I need to watch that. I saw the first episode. Ooh, the popo. I hear the sirens. Zombie apocalypse. It's okay.
Kind of like a fire engine too.
Yeah, same thing. But but no, I saw the first episode of Fear the Walking Dead, and I really, really liked it. But I didn't want to get sucked in. And there's the other one too, where I think it's the world of the Walking Dead or something like that. I have to go look at it. Where they're going off to find these girls are going off to find their father or something like that. It looked really cool. It looks really cool. I just have to have time to binge it. But I watched the hell out of Z Nation because there's something wrong with me. But I also like B-rated sci-fi animal movies because they crack me up. I watched all of the Sharknado movies, not because I like them, because they're funny as hell. They are funny. They are absolutely effing hilarious. So of course I'm going to watch Z Nation, which is done by Asylum. Any movie you see that's done by the Asylum, you already know is a B-rated ripoff of something that's already out there, like Transmorphers. Transmorphers is a ripoff of Transformers. And when the forks started shifting in the robots, I was done. It was absolutely effing hilarious. But they had an Atlantic Rim instead of Pacific Rim. Mm-hmm. And that was so B-rated, it was hilarious. I mean, I really love watching this stuff. So Z Nation was my jam because they had zombies that glow in the dark. They were glow in the dark. They had literally zombies that were getting it on with each other because they got a hold of ecstasy. They had zombies that were on a cheese wheel. They had literally a tornado zombie, a zombie-nado. Absolutely. And the same, I feel like the same zombies that were on the either cheese wheel or on the hay wheel, their ball of hay, kept popping up throughout the season. So they'd stand there and there's a damn thing rolling again. I'm like, how long is this damn thing gonna roll? With the zombies on it. Because it's insane. It was insane. And you would meet all these crazy people that were crazier than the zombies. So yeah, I really like Z Nation. If you have not seen Z Nation, you need to watch it. All of it's on Netflix. It is absolutely hilarious. So yeah, parody zombie series that has gore in it and has crazy stuff that happens in it, but it's like watching Winona Earp with zombies. That's what it's kind of like with me. But yeah. It reminded me of when Xander gave the potential slayers the how to kill vampires tutorial. Yep. Black Friday is an allegory for zombies and capitalism. Let's just keep it real. If they thought they could make money off of zombies, we would have zombies. It's just not in the forecasting plan.
Zombie zoo?
A zombie zoo my ass. You can probably adopt a zombie. I mean, nothing would be out of reach. Have a literally house staff, your waiter and your butler, your cleaning people could be zombies. They just be programmed to do that one job, and just don't put your hand in the way, because liability, you have to sign a disclaimer. If you are bitten and turned into the undead, that's on you. So insane. The weed zombies on scene. I love the weed. I love Doc. Doc is he's the weed king. Him and Ted Care are probably two of my favorite characters, but I love it. I love that show. Ramona from Legends of Tomorrow I think she played Ramona on that show. Her real name is Ramona. She may have a different name, but she actually, that's the first time I ever saw her, was on Z Nation. Ramona's actress. So yeah, they have a lot of people that come in and out, and a lot of them you will recognize from other shows. Like the wife of Bernie Mac on the series is actually the main character in Z Nation. So it's pretty cool. And she plays a character named Warren. I love Warren. So it is a very, very, very cool series. But back to our Army of the Dead review. Overall, again, I did not hate this movie. I like this movie a lot. I just have to nitpick. I do this on everything that I love. I love the Jurassic Park anything, and I just finished watching Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous. I always get it wrong, and I call it Camp C. And I watched all 10 episodes literally in one sitting, and so I have to do a season 3 review. But I have nitpicks. It's effing amazing, and I still have nitpicks because there are things that characters do, and you're just like, but why? And we know it's a writing thing, but it's like, but why did you think that we were going to swallow that? I'm like, why? So I have a major gripe. Something we discovered in season 3 that we should have known in season 1, and actually is not that. It's not even a big plot invested thing. It's just something we should have known. So yeah. Hey, Justin, how are you? But yeah, do you have any other thoughts and concerns and questions over the wonderfulness of Army of the Dead?
So, like I think Maria mentioned in the beginning, I am not a huge fan of the zombie genre in general, or horror genre in general. But so if I say that I did not mind watching this movie, it says something. And I can go even a step further and say I was entertained. I enjoyed watching it. And that's coming from somebody who, if you give them the choice, I'm going to say no thank you. Every time. I don't care if all the reviews are like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. I'm not going to be into it.
And just so you know, I gave River a choice. I said, like, you don't have to watch this with me. I know you don't like it. And not only did you watch it, you said you'd do the review with me. So
yeah, and I mean, excited. I did watch it because it was like, well, it's Zack Snyder. Like, he did a good job with
Snyder I like how you were like, what's it called? The Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut. And, I was like, you know what? I'll give you a chance here. And it just seemed like, it didn't seem like, it just seemed interesting enough to try it out. Like, I've been so tired out I've watched so many movies that it's like, I get tired out easily by the same old thing being recycled over and over in different ways. And so,
Arrowverse.
Yeah, I will not.
River will not watch Arrowverse ever
at all. Arrowverse shows ever again, because I'm just done. I'm done. But done. This was, I would recommend it to a zombie
enthusiast.
Yeah. I probably will not pick it up again, but
it's only because you don't like the genre. Yeah. Now, my daughter, who's not feeling well, is also a zombie movie enthusiast like me. I think she came by honest. I think it's one of the genes I passed to her, besides my face, and because we look alike. But she would have loved to talk about this movie because she can talk about zombie movies all day long. So I think when I watch another zombie movie, I'll probably have her get on here because she will literally break it down. Like, she came running in the room and she's like, did you know the movie we're about to watch, the actual main zombie is actually a hybrid? He's actually part extraterrestrial. And I'm like, thanks for spoiling that. And like, it's like, but that she really is that person. So we're already moving to robotic soldiers. It was on news. Check out Young Turks. China and America are racing towards Terminator style scenario. War is going to be automated, not drones, no people. Oh my Lord. We are becoming the Terminator. They don't learn. Like, they don't learn.
It's just a movie.
Look, this is horrifying to me, guys. Jules Verne's was way before his time, unless he's actually from the future and went back in time and wrote all this stuff because he knew it was in the future. He came up with so much technology, like submarines, freaking underwater scuba gear, like all of this tech before they even had this tech. And now we have this tech. Please tell me we're not going to have movies like The Terminator, and then we're going to have The Terminator. Because before, it seemed like a coincidence that he wrote all of this detailed stuff in all of his books that actually came to pass. We could say, oh, it was inspired by this, blah, blah, blah. The Terminator scenario is just ass frightening because you've seen how many variations of the movie, which quite frankly, some of the movies are frightening too, but how many variations of Terminators are killer robots do you have to effing watch before you realize you shouldn't mess with this stuff? But we don't learn. Human beings don't learn lessons. So then why are we so hard on entertainment? As reviewers, are we so hard? Because, look at humanity. Like, it makes complete sense that people do stupid shit all the time. Like, absolutely. So yeah, I'm upset about that, Ray. I don't want to die. Can we have zombies versus robots? Well, question, Ray. What would they actually lose? Like, if the zombies are dead and the robots are not alive, where's the real threat? Like, it's just the toaster and the fridge killing each other. I don't get it. But hey, it might look cool to watch. I've never played Plants vs. Zombies, but I was trying to figure that one out too. I don't understand. I've checked out on Supergirl this season. Yeah, I'm going to still review it because our girl Kelly is going to become Guardian. So I got to give her some support, for the few episodes she has left. And plus, I like Dreamer. So I want to see. And plus, I have to see at least if we get a little bit more of Kara and Lena giving eye sex to each other. But outside of that, what if our greatest inventors are like Booster Gold? Then we need to find another planet to live on, or another reality. Somebody needs to invent the multiverse for us so we can go. There probably already is a multiverse. We're just in the wrong side of it. All right. We are pretty much out of things to talk about with this movie. For now, anyway. I'll probably think about more stuff later. But yeah. Anything else you can think of, my lovely spouse? Anything? No? All right. Well then, guys, I would like to thank you for joining us for this review. I know I do more of the talking. It's only because River is very dominant in a lot of areas in the world, but not when it comes to running said mouth. So very quiet unless really, really passionate. And zombies are not something River is very passionate about. So that's why I always do more talking on this channel when we are together. I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to get River to say more, but I'm very proud of you because you talked more in this review than you ever have. So we're getting there. But yeah, so my Jupiter's Legacy review will be dropping tonight. It is now 7:19, so I'm trying to get up in the next couple of hours. I'm almost done editing it, so it shouldn't be a problem. That's with Eloy from the Turnout, so it should be cool. And then I'm going to have my Jurassic Park video tomorrow. And if you're Approach the Yuri channel lover and a subscriber, which you should be, I will have a new video on Monday on that channel. So yay, busy girl. But thank you for dropping in on this wonderful review of Army of the Dead. Again, if you have not seen this movie, I really hope you are not in here if you haven't seen it, but I do appreciate you being in here. Make sure that you leave your comments of what you thought about it and the theories or something that we may have missed. I know that there is Ray just said it. There is a prequel that is coming out that might actually explain exactly what was going on with these characters and their connections further, which is cool. Even though we know that, and Zeus, even though we know the outcome, it would be great. I wish the prequel had been the first movie, but
I hate when they do that. I hate
they
when
do it
they
in reverse.
tell you the background after you've seen like 3 movies.
Yep.
And it's like, this is where this all started.
It's like Soul Station and
you.
Train to Busan. Train to Busan is one of my favorite ever zombie movies. But the Soul Station, the animated prequel, explains everything up to Train to Busan, like the start of Train to Busan, with the girl getting on the train, starting all the stuff on the train. So yeah, I really wish I'd done it reverse, but yeah, let me know what you guys think at the bottom in the comments section, because you guys are really good at doing that. If you have not liked or subscribed, please do that, because I want you to. And then and then we will be hopefully on track. I think on Monday I should do a Batwoman review, but I might combine it with Black Lightning, so it may be on Monday night. I'm not sure yet. I'm trying to make sure I get all of them on a regular schedule, because having all of them on Arrowverse Tuesday takes a lot of time. So we are going to figure this out, because there are a lot of shows. And then when Motherland Fort Salem starts on Tuesday, I got to push that stream to Wednesday. So it's going to be a thing, guys. It's going to be a thing, but we're going to make it work, and it's going to happen. So, but again, thank you for being here today. Be on the lookout for the Jupiter's Legacy review video with me and Eloy, and have a very good rest of your Saturday, or if it's Sunday for you. We love you. Bye, guys.